So as expected, the United States of America has put their eyes on Ibrahim Traoré and began to create this false narrative about what they're doing on the ground. And today we're going to discuss why and how. My name is Ambassador Tim Ford Jr. of the African Union AUCS, and I've been living over in East Africa, Tanzania for almost 5 years now. And I help my people invest, rebuild, and return over to the continent of Africa. But today we're going to get right to the point and talk about what the United States of America is doing to paint a negative picture for Burkina Faso. So let's go. So the head of the United States Africa Command, General Michael Langley, has accused President Captain Ibrahim Traoré of something very disrespectful and degrading to what he's doing over there in Burkina Faso. He accused him of using his country's gold reserve in order to benefit him personally and his regime that he have in place, and not helping his people of Burkina Faso better themselves and get into a better position. Now, this is something that has been played out before many times in history. I'm sure our people have seen something like this happen in the past when they put a so-called influential black leader on a platform in the Western world and use him to paint a negative picture about what's going on over here on the continent of Africa. We saw it happen when Obama was in office with President Gaddafi and what he did in Libya. So Obama got on his platform and painted Gaddafi in a negative image, and by him doing that, a lot of the people around the continent, a lot of our people within the diaspora believed what he was saying and backed everything that he said about Gaddafi. And now looking back at that, a lot of our people realize how we were tricked to turning our back on Gaddafi and what he was actually trying to do for us as a people. So now in 2025, we have a totally different perspective, and we can really smell and see and understand what they are trying to do with painting this negative picture about President Captain Ibrahim Traoré. There's always what we call a coon, or someone that sells us out to try and help the Western powers stay in their position. It's unfortunately something that we've been dealing with as a people for decades. And there's always some coward within our camp that's trying to appease the power structure and not ruffle any feathers and not be bold and speak the truth about what's really going on to us as a people. They feel like when they get into those rooms, into those circles with different Europeans, they can act like, oh, I'm not like those other black people. I'm better. I'm like you guys. And in actuality, they see all of us the same. You may be in their room, you may be getting a nice amount of money, but at the end of the day, they see us all the same. And if we're not locking arms with one another, that will continue to take advantage of us if we're separated in the way that they think. Now, during this time, we as a people, we see things a lot differently now. After experiencing what happened with Gaddafi and after being on this side of history and really understanding the move that they made and what they did to Gaddafi and how they lied to us as a people, we see the writing on the wall now. Now we can smell and see and understand what's happening, because not only me, but the entire diaspora is supporting what Ibrahim Traoré is doing. And not only the entire diaspora, the people of Burkina Faso, more importantly, are 100% behind him in supporting what he's doing. Now, of course, you will find out later that there are some haters within his camp, and there are some people who used to work with him who is not happy about what he's doing. Some of them want to continue to be on the Western world's nipple and continue to ask for a handout and not build on their own. So instead of them being strong and continuing to fight the good fight of taking over their country and its minerals to better its people, they would rather wait on a handout from the Western world and pretend to be in their world and continue to ask for things from them instead of building it on their own. But the overwhelming majority of the people in Burkina Faso have nothing but admiration, love, and respect for President Captain Ibrahim Traoré, because they feel within their heart that he has their best interests at heart. They love him so much that in the past, when they heard that there would be an attempted coup or an assassination attempt on his life, man, the people would go and rally around his house and stay there to protect him from anything or anyone that was trying to come in. Now, how many presidents or leaders over here on the continent of Africa that you know the people will go and sacrifice themselves to continue to protect him? That's how much love he has in Burkina Faso. The people are risking their lives to stand in front of gunfire, to stand in front of armies, to stand in front of anyone who's trying to take him away from what he's trying to build for his people over in Burkina Faso. And now the fact that there's a so-called black man using his platform to try to tear Ibrahim Traoré down is very sickening and heartbreaking, man. It's very unfortunate that some of our people feel like if they can kiss the white man's butt in order to get what they need. It sucks, but this is how some of our people think. They have to brown nose them and act like, oh no, I'm not like them. I can go down that rabbit hole all day. But it's unfortunate that some of our people think like that. And I'm gonna show you guys what this man used his platform to say about our president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Listen to this real quick.
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traoré and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
So this is what this man is saying to the U.S. Senate. The U.S. Senate, a black man who understands what we deal with in the entire world. He's from the United States of America. I'm sure he's had some experiences, even within the military. They don't respect them always in the military. Even in the military, you still a nigga at the end of the day if they want to treat you like that. So the fact that he's using his platform to say this about a country, about a president who's trying to put his people in a good position, who's trying to kick out the Western world, who's trying to remove the colonizers from their way of doing things, it shows you how he feels about himself at the end of the day. There's a lot of self-hatred in the man for him to tear down another black man who's building something for himself. President Captain Ibrahim Traoré hasn't said anything about the United States of America. He hasn't threatened America. He hasn't even put his eyes or mouth on America. He's been focused on Burkina Faso. And this man over in the United States of America has gotten orders from someone above him to use his platform to try and degrade and talk about what he's doing in a negative way. But as I was telling my wife this story, she hit me with a great question that Michael Langley should be answering for us. Bro, what about the gold at Fort Knox? What about all the gold that y'all took from the people in the past that y'all haven't given back that's supposed to be stored in Fort Knox that's not there anymore? What about that goal? Instead of worrying about what's going on and being a puppet for your masters, what about what's going on in Fort Knox? But I know you can't talk about that because they got you on a short leash and you can't talk about the real things that's going on, huh? You got to be a puppet and paint this negative narrative. Sad. Sucks to be a general in that army if you can't speak up for yourself, huh? Even though he's using his platform to say that, we on the ground, we know the truth. We as a people that's standing up and being bold for the entire diaspora and the continent of Africa really, really know what's going on and how they've recruited another coward to try and tear our brother down. Even though they're trying to paint this negative picture to the mainstream world and the mainstream media and try to paint our brother out to be something negative and derogatory, it's not going to work because we understand these games now, and there's more of us standing up and sounding the alarm. I'm just one content creator who's on here speaking about this, but there are several others who's talking about the truth and sounding the alarm about what's really going on. They will not be able to paint these negative pictures because we know the truth. We are seeing the truth and we are connecting with the truth. In the past, when things happen like this with Gaddafi and other leaders, we weren't on the ground having these high-level conversations and speaking up about what is really going on. So history has a way of teaching us is if we fully pay attention to what happened and how we can adjust ourselves properly to not end up in that situation again. So this is what we're going to do this time. We're going to stand up. We're going to let everybody know, like, bro, this general, whoever he is, with the Western world, they put this dude in place to try and tear down what our brother is building over here in West Africa. Our brother is doing nothing but standing strong and getting the colonizers out of the way. They've been stealing from them ever since they so-called gained their independence. What's wrong with somebody standing up and getting people who are stealing from them out of the way? Like, if this was happening in the Western world, they would want the Western world to do the same thing. Like, somebody has been taking advantage of you for 30 to 40 years, and you're supposed to just sit there and not say anything and do anything and not do something for your people. So we know what's going on, and we know that they are afraid of President Captain Ibrahim Traoré continuing his mission and actually fulfilling his mission that he set out to fulfill. So let's hear what the news in Burkina Faso had to say about what's going on.
Burkina Faso's military government said on Monday that it had foiled a major plot to overthrow the country's junta leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Security Minister Mahamadou Sana said on state television that plotters included current and former soldiers and terrorist leaders. They had planned to swarm the presidential palace on April 16. This is just the latest attempt to overthrow Ibrahim Traoré after he seized power in the 2022 coup. His military government had pledged to fight jihadist groups and had even sought support from Russia, but security threats persist and 40% of the country remains under jihadist control. Mahamadou Sana said that the coup attempt aimed to sow total chaos and place the country under the supervision of an international organization. He also claimed that the plot instigators are based in Ivory Coast. Last week, Burkinabe authorities had already arrested several military personnel accused of planning to destabilize the government.
The coup/assassination attempt happened while that man was at the Senate having that conversation. So simultaneously, while he was talking to his Senate friends, they were over in West Africa attempting to mobilize and go and take his life from him. Clearly, someone wants our brother out of power, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate, but they always recruit the weak links first. As they said in the video, you have current and former soldiers and terrorism leaders. And all Ibrahim Traoré is trying to do is put the entire country of Burkina Faso in a better position. The craziest part is I'm sure some of those former soldiers and some of those current soldiers want to be in the position that he's in. I can guarantee you and promise that some of those people who turned their back on him and decided to go and mobilize with them over in the Ivory Coast and stay over there to try and continue to attack him, some of them were in his close circle around him and they think, you know what, I can do this myself. Or I think we can still have, strategic partnerships with the Western world. I think I can do things a little bit different. No. I mean, they've been paid like cowards and suckers to take some money to try and stop and tear down the revolution. But little did they take account for, little did they know is that the people are really rallying behind him and standing behind what he's doing. It's a new time. A lot of our people are waking up. Majority of our people aren't cowards anymore. If you over here sniffing for money, if you can be bought, they will buy you. But if you're a strong man or woman, if you stand for morals, if you stand for values, they won't be able to buy you. So if you're a weak link that got caught first, you will have to live with that for the rest of your life. You don't get away with that. These people mention all of their names on their platform to let the world know that these are the traitors who are trying to stop the revolution that God has ordained for us to be freed from the colonial shackles that we've been forced to be under for the past few hundred years. And the fact that he went onto his platform and lied and said Ibrahim Traoré isn't doing anything for the people of Burkina Faso was a slap in the face to the progress that he's made since he's taken over that country. And I'm going to run down the list of the things that our brother, President Captain Ibrahim Traoré, has been able to do since he's been in office over there in Burkina Faso. So they said he was taking gold and putting it in his pocket and only helping his people in his circle. But let's hear what he's been doing for his people that's on the ground all over Burkina Faso. So one of the first things he did was expel the French troops out of Burkina Faso, officially ending all of their operations within their country. And he also nationalized 2 gold mines for the sum of $80 million to further benefit the people of Burkina Faso. And he built and commissioned the country's first ever gold refinery. And he approved the expansion of the international airport, de Bobo de Loas. I may butcher that name, but I'll show a picture just as a reference as well. But he also invested 80 million CFA francs to modernize the country's second largest hub. Here's a few of the things he invested into the agriculture sector in order to help his people come up during these times. He invested 400 tractors, 953 motorcycles, 710 motor pumps, 10,000 tons of fish food, 68,964 tons of fertilizer, and 10,000 liters of products. And he also launched the country's first national support center for artisanal cotton processing. And get this, Burkina Faso is the largest producer of cotton on the entire continent of Africa. Let's go, man. And I'm also going to give you guys a list of the things he supplied the Ministry of Health with in his country to help them benefit during these times as well. He gave them 15 mobile clinics, 36 vehicles, 3 oxygen units, 11 cold rooms, 835 tablets, and 1,900 solar refrigerators. And last but certainly not least, he removed French as the official language governing his country of Burkina Faso, and he put the native language that they all speak as the official language for their country over there. So I don't know what this Langley guy is talking about, but we see that he's making forward strides and forward momentum to help the country of Burkina Faso gain its sovereignty and start using its minerals to help and benefit his people. And one more thing I must mention is he survived at this point 5 different assassination and coup attempts in order to overtake him and what he's doing over in Burkina Faso. So he's been standing strong, not only putting his people in order and putting them in position, but he's been having to fight opposition, fight death threats, fight his people coming and turning on him as he's trying to build for them at the same time. And the fact that another black man is using his platform in an attempt to discredit him and begin a smear campaign goes to further show and prove to us that all skin folk not kinfolk. And they're trying the same tactics they've always tried throughout the years. They basically paying an Uncle Tom or a coon to sit on his platform and sell us out and lie and pretend like he know what he's talking about. He's someone that's so prestige. He's someone that has the answers. He's someone that knows exactly what's going on and know exactly what to do because they supposedly his people. But at the end of the day, we're not falling for it this time. This is a new time. This is a new era. This is a new moment in history where many of us are sounding the alarm. We are not afraid to stand against the negative forces that's trying to stop and hinder us as we grow and as we come back together as a people. He has his people rallying behind him within Burkina Faso. Like I just mentioned, they go and rally around this man's house when they hear that there's an attempted coup or an attempted assassination attempt on his life. So how many people do you know on the continent or in the entire world who could get that type of love from their people that they're actually helping out? Type in the comment box who you think besides President Captain Ibrahim Traoré can get that type of treatment. Let me know, because I've never heard of anyone, maybe some ministers, maybe some preachers who are doing the work of God in that regard, get that type of work. But for presidents or someone who's running the country, that has never happened before. Let me know who you guys think in the comment box, if there's anyone. I don't think you guys would be typing anyone, though. Not only does his people within the country of Burkina Faso support him, us, the diaspora, the men and women who are boldly waking up during these times, who are standing up for our people, who are sounding the alarm, who are looking into the eyes of the evil people or the evil infrastructures that's put in place and standing up and using our platforms to tear these things down. We all support him 1,000%. So by us supporting him, we also have to use our prayers as well to continue to keep him covered and protected. While many of us are around the world and within the diaspora, we're not on the ground over there in Burkina Faso, but when we hear these type of messages and we see the things that's going on, it's very important that we use our power of prayer to keep him covered and protected. We can stand in the gap for him as he's doing the work and fighting what he's supposed to do and in his role in his lane of doing things. A lot of us have different roles during these times and during these seasons as our people work and mobilize to put things together. Like some of you guys pray for me as I continue to go and work through things on my behalf on my journey over here. That's how I'm able to understand what President Captain Ibrahim Traoré is dealing with, in a sense, because I've been dealing with this for the past few years. I know you guys have seen the videos that I've been talking about and some of the experiences I've had with my own people who I've so-called helped, who I've attempted to open businesses with, who I even led into my life and tried to give them the game so that they can do the same things. It's some betrayal that comes behind it because it's a spirit that a lot of our people deal with. There's some self-hatred, there's some jealousy, there's some envy that overcomes people when they feel like they can do what you're doing and they haven't done it for themselves. So what he's dealing with is nothing new. We've seen this 1,000 million times before, guys. We understand what he's dealing with, so it's important that we stand in the gap and pray for him during these tough times. While his people in Burkina Faso rally around him and stay at his house and make sure he's good and covered and protected, we have to make sure we do our part in the spiritual realm and stand in the gap and go against these people like Mike that's trying to tear him down and use their platform for a negative image. It's very unfortunate, and once again, I'm going to keep saying it, but I can't believe that there's a black man in the world acting like this. Like, you know what we've been dealing with as a people for hundreds of years. Man, you came from Louisiana. You from Louisiana. You from the mud. You from the bottom. And the fact that you using your platform to tear down a man who's building something for his people it's nasty work, man. I hope ooh, it's gonna be a special place for you, man. I know you shaking hands right now, you getting patted on your head, they're telling you good job, but you guys will not be victorious this time. It's a new day, it's a new era. You will not be victorious. We're too bold now. It's a new season. You guys better get in order and understand what's going on right now and try to make a strategic partnership and make your apologies now before it's too late, because we're not going. We as a people, we see, we smell, and we can feel the fakeness now. So as we pray, as we stay in the gap, as the people that's over in Burkina Faso continue to fight, and if the fight comes to your doorstep, don't be afraid to fight and stand in the gap and do what you have to do for that time. Sometimes we got to be bold, we have to take risks, and if they bothering us, hey man, stand up for yourself and do what you got to do, because what's the alternative? To stay in this situation? To continue to be subjugated to their system and their world and their way of doing things? Nah, that's not an option, okay? That's not an option. We have to be bold during these times. We have to take these risks. And we see what President Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing over in Burkina Faso, and we see the feedback that he's getting from us as a people and the Western world. So that means he's doing something right. If the Western world try to paint you as a negative person, that means you're doing really something good to help your people and get them in a better position. So, hey, this is what comes with it, and this is a part of it. We knew this would happen at some point, but it's always disheartening to see somebody that look like you use a platform to do something of that magnitude. But we used to it. We're going to stand in this and we're going to do what we need to do, y'all. Stand up for President Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Continue to sound the alarm. Continue to write the right narrative and paint the right picture about what he's actually doing on the ground over there. No, he's not stealing from his people. He's the one who's actually trying to help his people. When he kicked the French out of the country, them folks had so many deals in place that was benefiting the country of France way more than it was benefiting the people of Burkina Faso. If they was over there helping, supposedly helping them develop and get into a developed state, why are they still technically considered a third world country? They've been over there all that time and nothing has been developed. They got so much money. France is developed to a whole nother level, but they were in Burkina Faso supposedly helping and nothing has come from it. So how can a man be wrong for trying to get the foot off his neck of some people who claiming to help but are actually taking advantage of his people? So that's exactly what he's doing. So what he's doing is something that's bold, and they don't want him to have a platform. They don't want him to get to his goal, because if he gets to his goal, then more of us will see what's possible and understand that we need to wake up during these times and be bold during these times. So now they're on the smear campaign and using someone that looks like us in order to validate what's going on, because unfortunately we've been so sick and tortured as a people that if another black person say something bad about another black person, then we automatically believe that black person without even doing further research and looking into the situation thoroughly before we even put our 2 cents on it. I just lived through an experience, so I know how our people operate, and I know what we do as a people in the sickness that we're dealing with. If you're watching our content, you're probably interested in coming over to the continent of Africa, where you're in luck. I have a free document that gives you everything you need to know in order to have a solid foundation so that you come over here successfully. All you have to do is sign up to our newsletter at our website, and you'll be sent that document directly to your inbox. And also, we have a free course that gives you everything you need to know so that when you decide to come over here, you have everything you need so that you can be good to get started. And we offer Swahili courses as well for those who are interested. If you want to be well-rounded and speak the language of Swahili so that you can come over here and be competent and handle your business properly, join us in our self-paced Swahili course as well. And we also offer consultations for those who are interested. I will sit on the phone with you and answer all the questions that you have to make sure that you and your family know everything you guys need to know so that y'all can make a smooth transition over here to the continent of Africa. And last, but certainly not least, we have a membership community of like-minded individuals who are working together and coming over here to the continent of Africa to hold each other accountable and build alongside one another. So if you're interested in joining our community or taking advantage of any other resources that we have for you guys, make sure you just click the link in the description box and join us at our website, and we got you, all right? Since we're here, got to show y'all some of the products real quick.
This I'm not your body, baby. Not your body.
Yeah, natural product.
Not your body.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, come closer. Come.
Baby.
Busy Beachy.
Baby. Karibu.
And also, if you're interested in getting an herbal consultation to learn traditional methods and ways to help you overcome any illness or sickness you've been dealing with, click the link in the description box and sign up for our herbal consultations now, and my beautiful wife got you. And also, if you're interested in learning how to make herbal products and learning the traditional methods to foster in healing from different diseases, and also how to set up FDA GMP compliant herbal businesses, join us in our FordsHerbal Medicine Academy, where my beautiful wife, licensed herbal practitioner and student midwife, will teach you how to do everything in order to set up your business properly and learn how to make your products properly. So join us if you're interested. Karibu. So as I mentioned, we've seen this done several times in history. So that's why this time we're not going to fall for it. We're having these conversations. We're sounding the alarm. We're shining light on the mess and what they're attempting to do with our brother's image and the work that he's doing for us as a people, not only in Burkina Faso, but for the entire African population. All of us within the diaspora, all of us with African within our blood, we are with him, we feel him, and we stand beside him in what he's doing. So last, before I go, I want to talk about Julius Malema, who's the president of the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters over in South Africa. He's been sounding the alarm and being an advocate for our people on the continent of Africa for a few years now. He's been using his platform in the Economic Freedom Fighters that he's built over in South Africa to stand up against the West for a few years now. He's been boldly calling out Trump, calling out Elon. They even attempted to make him apologize for what he said, and he doubled down on what he had to say. So he's been bold, and he actually backed Ibrahim Traoré and called the Western world out for what they were doing and the hypocrisy that they were practicing for being in Africans' business. So we are continuing to wake up, and he's just one of the leaders who's boldly using their platform. And this is something that's new, because usually Africans of other nations who are leaders in other nations, they don't really talk and speak up when other African nations so-called get in trouble with the Western world. So the fact that he's saying something and backing President Captain Ibrahim Traoré goes to show you once again that things are changing now. More of our people are going to continue to be bold and continue to boldly take risks. On top of what President Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing, there's been more and more African leaders who changing their visa restriction policies and doing things a little bit differently. And not only because of what Ibrahim Traoré is doing, but because of what Trump is doing. Trump is clearly showing us how he feels about the continent of Africa, what he thinks about the continent of Africa. So why is that dude, Mike, worried about what's going on the continent of Africa if your president is clearly showing that he doesn't care? So why bro, it must suck to be used, man. It must suck. You gotta live with that for the rest of your life. I know it'd be eating them up at the end of the day. You might get you some money, you might get you a pat on the head again, like I said. But at the end of the day, your children, your legacy will know who you were and what you did for the people, man. What you tried to do for the people, what you tried to do to the people. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment box about Mike and what he's trying to do. And of course, President Captain Ibrahim Traoré, how you think he should move forward, how you think he should protect himself and continue to shine the light and continue to help his people over in Burkina Faso while they lie on him and try to tarnish his reputation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment box. And also, wherever you guys are tuning in from, let me know if you're on the continent of Africa or you're in the Western world. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I always like to know where our people showing love from and how you guys are connecting with us. So yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can stay tuned to the content, where I will bring current events that's happening on the continent of Africa, and I will give you some of the history that I've learned since being on the ground over here, all while showing you my journey and documenting what I've been doing since I left the United States of America almost 5 years ago. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay tuned to the journey, all right? Also, if you want to support us monetarily, we have CashApp, PayPal, and Patreon in the description box. So if you want to support us as we do this work and continue to bring this content from the continent of Africa, make sure you support us down in the description box, all right? And if anyone has shown love or support throughout this entire journey and this process, we thank you. We We don't take it for granted, and we greatly appreciate those who show love and show the support. If it's been monetarily, or if it's been prayers, or if it's been well wishes, or even comment on our stuff. We appreciate it, and we don't take it for granted that you're taking time to show us love, all right? Now, thank you. And if you made it to the end of this video, to this point, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this content was able to bring you some value, and you see what we need to do as a people and why it's important that we, the real people, the real skin folk that's kinfolk, stand up and say something about what we're dealing with and speak the truth about what's really going on the ground. If we know the real, we got to speak the truth, because if we don't, they will be able to paint a false narrative about what's going on the ground. So we got to be bold and take these risks and stand up for our people. Now, President Captain Ibrahim Traoré doesn't even speak English, so he's not even worried about the Americas or even focused on what they have going on. This man is trying to get his people in a good position so that they don't continue to be taken advantage of. That's all he's doing. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So, hey guys, don't let them write this bad narrative about our brother. Spread this message, spread the alarm, spread the word about the truth. What we're really dealing with as we fight against the Western world who are trying to keep their foot on our neck, as we shake it off in order to get to where we need to get, all right? Y'all be safe out there. Y'all make sure y'all keep y'all shalom peace, and don't let these people stop y'all, all right? Y'all stay focused. Shalom.